Assassin's Creed 3, but can I beat it by not attacking? Can I kill the 6 Guardians of the Order without touching them? Let's find out. Since Desmond... What the f- I will not be playing as Desmond. Gross. I will just be focusing on the man-child corner. Look at him run up the stairs. And the charred Hatham Kenway. Whilst I make my way to my seat, I'll explain a little on what I can and can't do. Any moveset or counters that inflict damage, I can't do. So no punching, no pistols, no throwing people to their death. And button prompts do not count as attacking. After watching the new Indiana Jones, everyone went insane. Children caught PTSD. There were adult men crying, people getting strip searched, men getting raped. So I left Britain for a new life where I'm faced with a tutorial on how to fight. And I'm just not counting tutorials. But some random twink named Mills cornered me and was about to dox me until Hatham was all like...
Put me on where you like and I'll fucking kill you.
He then uttered one word that made Hatham insane.
Surrender. Go to offense.
Unfortunately, Hatham gets a little bit too angry. And obviously you need to attack this guy. I meet Charles Lee and my boy Benjamin Franklin, who is truly more sus than a character from Among Us.
This is no ordinary book. Why do you say that?
But since Hatham's story consists of stealth and button prompts, I'm just going to ignore all of that and dive right into the meat. So I need to break into this fort, and unfortunately this sequence is where I could say bullets are gonna spray, I'm from Brooklyn. Unfortunately, there are a few parts like here and here where you need to shoot. But in other parts, you can either let your boys shoot them or wait for them to shoot first. Because I can't attack, it becomes a walking simulator. But let me just say this, it's about as fun as rape. But let me just say this, Charles Lee has got their moves, Thomas Hickey has got that swing, and all you need to do during this part is throw the enemies off so they can meet the blunt side of an axe. Whilst Hatham admires a fat pussy, my new friend Benjamin Church was about to experience sloppy toppy.
Baby, our tongue is cocked.
If you run in to save Benjamin Church, he'll eject out of his seat. Even if you hang around, he'll eject out of his seat. Even if you whistle, even if you kill Charles Lee. So unfortunately, I had to kill 2 of them. But when killing Silas, there's 3 things you need to know. Silas won't leave this area.
Oh, fuck no.
Gunshots don't seem to affect him.
Oh, fuck.
And fall damage is turned off.
Oh.
But if you continue to hide in a stack of hay, he'll glitch out and just stands there. Which means you can move Silas ever so slightly by continuously getting in his face and walking into him.
You got that?
And then you can push him in the lake.
I am under the water.
Charles was trying to squeeze into my back door, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't gay. So I was on the hunt for some forest fruit. Charles and I tracked her down, and she was taking a massive shit.
Oh god, here it comes.
And that's when we saw the wolves. If you perform the first QTE, it will mean you'll attack. But if you don't perform the first QTE and focus on the button smash, then you'll be okay. I finally found her, and then she told me her name. Nah, so I took her to the local pub, and some guy starts getting in my face telling me, I'm not the guy, pal. Trust me, you're not the guy. But during the pub fight, you literally have to fight back.
Oh, for God's sake!
But it was time to kill Edward Braddock.
Fuck with your boys.
Since Zio chanted the elusive come, she spawned in her Native American gang to help clear out the scout camp. You then chase Braddock, you get saved by Zio, and the elusive come ability wore off since there were no Native American gang to help me. But you can actually take Braddock on a little adventure of a lifetime, through the minds of he's dead. If you travel out far enough, he will follow you and the NPCs will kill Braddock for you. After Zio gave herself to me, I realized that I was really gay.
You seem disappointed.
I expected more.
But my heart belonged to Charles. Charles, do you agree I've repeated this same bit 3 times already?
I do.
And do you agree that H3H3 is a fat prick? Anyway, they all lived happily ever after.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
But now, I'm Rohan Ogedon, who's reading a... Because the next few memories have 0 relevance to my challenge, I'm going to skip over these like hunting with my fat friend, losing my virginity to the elder mother, and terrorizing an old man. The only thing to mention was the fact that I had to kill 8 animals for the hunting tutorial, which makes me say,
How absolutely dare you!
to gain entrance to the old man's house, I have to fight. There are 2 men to fight, but once you kill one of them, 6 more shall take his place. The definition of an OG. Much like Silas, if you hide in a stack of hay, it glitches out the enemy where they stand there. And that is where the ability of fast walk comes back into play. You can constantly keep fast walking into them and keep pushing. You can keep fast walking into them. If you keep... Oh my god, dude. Jesus Christ, what is it? After you've eventually gotten through the superb voice acting and obviously pushed every single one of them into the depths below,
It's out of the park.
I have now gained entrance to the old man's house and heart.
This feels wrong.
But there's a riot and I have to kill this man, so I decided to shoot him. Instead, you can just give him a gentle tap on the shoulder. Because the next few memories have zero relevance to my challenge, like Achilles showing Connor his old nudes,
That was years ago.
hanging around a guy with flatulence problems, and shooting cannons.
That's okay!
Since I'm technically not the one shooting cannons, therefore I'm not attacking them. But I have now been entered into the creed.
If you're going to stand a chance against the Templars, you're going to need these. Put them on.
And I'm tasked to protect an angry Frenchman. To minimize the Frenchman's health loss, I would disarm them and then carry and drop their guns in a quiet spot, which would render them useless since they wouldn't fight back. But unfortunately, the Frenchman was going to learn the tragic tale of fuck around and find out. Two big beefy boys would continuously slap up the Frenchman, and I was starting to lose my shit when my inner hatred for the French was starting to emerge, and I couldn't find the answers to solve this conundrum with. Listen! A stack of hay was the answer. Whilst the Frenchman has an easy fight, you can get chased by the two beefy boys and jump into a stack of hay until they decide to be all like, and then walks away where the fighting just stops. The Frenchman has taught me the ability of family. But the fighting never just stops. We gotta destroy the British people's team. There are 15 British men to fight, but there was one move that would cause instant death.
Whitney Houston.
You know, since Whitney Houston died from like drowning and stuff. I would hang on to the edge and just wait for them all to... But right now, it's the Templars, baby. Bruh. Situated up on that hill resides William Johnson, who has definitely got that speed. But he does eventually stop and just stands there, so I'd throw a guard in the lake until he was waist high where he would constantly shoot at me. Then I'd stand behind Johnson.
Are you getting rude to man?
The next few memories also have zero relevance to my challenge. Like a man constantly
Keep going!
Like a man
Excellent! We are right
like
on
a man
course.
constantly
This is
shouting
it. This is the
like a
way.
man
Yes,
shouting
this is
directions,
exact-
commanding the firing lines to repel groups of gun-wielding British men. Since I'm not the one who is attacking, I'm just doing the hand signal of death.
Oh, hell.
So I'm allowing it, and also blowing up powder kegs. But it's all easy, you just need to be quiet. Shh. John Pitcairn was my next target.
Strike!
Situated up on that hill resides Pitcairn, who is immune to fall damage, friendly fire by gun and sword, and resting in peace. But there is one thing he isn't immune to. The Animus Wall of Bruh sound effect too. The moment you leave the area, you bruh. But there's two stages to the Animus Wall you need to know. The inner wall and the outer wall. The outer wall is where you bruh. If you follow the outer wall for a while, you can run around in the inner wall with no problems.
You got that?
So I brought John Pitcairn on an adventure of a lifetime. He's dead. You can walk to these docks and drop him in the water, but I'm assuming going out of the area breaks the game as I was stuck in a loading screen. So I had to reload checkpoint and kill him the old-fashioned way. After getting told I couldn't play the Xbox that night, I was angry. Thomas Hickey was going to play. Thomas Hickey flees, and what ensues is a long and lengthy chase sequence where you end up catching and killing. I got arrested. In order to escape, I unfortunately needed to start a fight. Now again, I do need to attack and cause some smoke clouds. Thomas Hickey. I was going to be the last thing Thomas Hickey saw. Usually Thomas Hickey would give George a stab and desync me, but I found that if you keep tackling him, it would cause him to bug out and just stand there. Then I'd run around to cause a guard to shoot.
Whereas I'm the type of guy who likes to have a beer in one hand and a tea in the other.
Base.
Achilles was limiting my screen time, so I decided to run away and find Benjamin
Hello
Chu.
there.
My dad and I team up, but what ensues is a long and lengthy chase sequence topped off with hearing the most annoying voice I've ever heard in my entire adult life. My dad gets beat and I get abandoned yet again, leaving me to kill the rest of these men. They can't be tricked into falling off the edge, they can't easily be beaten by any other NPCs, and I couldn't find water deep enough to barge them into, and I was slowly starting to lose my sanity on corner where I was about to have my very own. This river has a deep enough part where they...
Whitney Houston.
So I'd round them all up on this little log and jump back and forth causing them to... But now I was back on to find Benji. But what ensues is a fetch quest so I can gain access to this warehouse only to hear about Hatham asking about what happened to my mother, but it's okay because he's sorry.
You're sorry.
Sorry?
During the ambush, Hatham goes invisible halfway through for some reason, which means he can kill all the men without my help. The building blows up with only one way to escape.
I don't want to use my hand!
Benjamin Church was on that ship, but there's 3 officers on board.
Oh, come on!
But no matter what, I couldn't use their own guns against them by trying to line them up. But I've got one trick up my sleeve that's a little bit spicy. I decided to apologize to Achilles for my lack of emotional development, aka man-child. He also apologizes for the pictures he took of me as a child. The next 2 memories are pretty boring and repetitive, and they give me perpetual foot fungus.
And what's this?
Private
Of
correspondence.
course it is. Would you like to know what it said?
I learned that my best friend was teaming up with the British, and now we have bad blood. There's 5 Patriot messengers to kill. First one, easy.
That's okay!
That doesn't count as attacking. The next 3 can be taken to this little area where you gently tap them into the water. And the last one can easily be... And the last one can be I just couldn't do it. I kept failing over and over. But there was one thing that I could call upon. Family. Well, apparently you can't call your recruits unless you're in Boston or New York. So I had to kill him. Also, you have to attack 6 of your family. If they reach the group of patriots, you desync, and there's just no way around it. But there was one family member I was missing. My best friend. We wrestled, but he was going full goblin mode. I had to do it. I had to use the sacred Uno reverse card.
Reverse.
I had just murdered my best friend. Unfortunately, I have to use this cannon to shoot trillions of men. I mean, technically, I'm not really using it, this guy is. But then I have to sail around the Atlantic Ocean, kill a guy, knock knock knock. Achilles was dying, and a promise was made to kill Charles. Charles Lee. My super secret plan was to use the cannons as a distraction. After stumbling around, it wasn't Charles Lee, but my dad.
Hello there.
He beat me, I beat him, and unfortunately, Connor has to counter his dad's attacks. But then, he straddled me and put his hands around my neck. I couldn't breathe. I just had to do it.
Impossible.
Charles Lee. They say the most important meal of the day is breakfast. They also say a punch to the ribs causes... And they also say fighting 8 men is complete suicide. But I had one secret weapon up my sleeve. Family. Turns out family doesn't save the day, but standing behind your enemies in the line of fire does. I don't really do much in terms of attacking from here on out. All I really do is give Charles Lee cancer.
What the hell?
Nah, he just dies. But that's it. Wow, that was depressing. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.